All right, so when you first get into the system, this is a web-based platform. What we've done is created basically a shortcut to the web-based application on the desktop here. Label it called the Seago Web. It is literally just opening up a web page. So we're gonna double click this guy here, and it's gonna bring us to our login. The username is case sensitive, unlike a lot of other platforms. I'm going to log in with the account we've created for you. Once you log in, you're going to get to your initial splash screen, and just the layout here. Some of the things you'll see up top, you have your alarm indicator. It's red because there's currently an alarm in place. It shows you the user up on the top right, and over on the left you have kind of your navigation buttons for the access that you have and what you can look into. The plant view is going to get you to your graphics. Alarm will show you what's currently in an alarm state, and you have a schedule icon. You can see what's actually scheduled and make modifications in there, which we can look at in a minute. And this is going through looking at points and stuff, which you may not do very often. You'll probably be looking at the graphics, and trended data can be found by drilling down into the tree here. So from the plant view, which is where you're going to pretty much do all your looking, you'll see on in the middle here you've got a little icon underneath graphics. It says home. That's your home graphic. If you click on that, it'll open up the initial start page. And I will tell you, because it'll get you every time, you notice how the graphics shifted over? When you're clicking between graphics, you got to give it a little second, because you'll go to click on it, it'll shift over and you'll hit the wrong button or something. It's just loading the page. So what you have here is just a home graphic with some links to different graphical pages. I'd say maybe at the start of the day, or whenever you want to check something out, you can go here and maybe look at your water system, what have you. Click through, see what you need to see, go to the next. Check your alarms out if you have any new alarms that need to be looked into. Clicking on a link here, we'll start with the condenser water. It'll bring you to a page. It'll take a second to load everything. It'll usually show you values as soon as it opens that are from like a cached previous level. So sometimes it'll show you something and it'll change real quick. It's just that's just the normal functionality. These are moving in real time. You can see the building DP loop is changing every so many seconds. Throughout the graphic here, we have most of the points that you would need to look at. There are a lot of other points behind the scenes that work in the program and stuff that you shouldn't have to mess with. You can see up in the corner here if we're in cooling or heating at the moment. Your set points are on here. Most of these set points have been set up by test and balance or commissioning, so you probably would want to think before just randomly changing set points, or have a conversation beforehand. This is the set point that is needed to keep the building maintained for pressure. Your supply and return loop temps. And let's see if there's anything in here you really need to. Before we started the training here, we went over just a little bit about these pumps, but I'll just reiterate that you have start and stop command for pumps. If they are receiving a proof or a status back from the pump that it's in the opposite state from what the command is, you will see an alarm pop up on the graphic, and you will see an alarm here and in your alarm screen, your alarm tab. Currently we don't have any alarms, so that's good there. And these are VFD fault points coming directly from the drives. If there is a fault at the drive, it'll pop back and we'll see one of those go on. That will also generate an alarm. So just skimming through the graphics every so often will show you a lot of information. Let's see here. These are broken up between segments of the system. So this being we'll go back to this page. That's being the condenser water loop. You see that shift just happened like I was mentioning. And then the other part, so we got from a mechanical standpoint, this might be a better thing to go over with the Bernhardt guys, but they can explain pretty in depth how the whole water system is laid out and what it means for your building. I will say, so you have your tower that's going to be used mostly for summertime and stuff to get your chiller condenser water, colder condenser water through the loop. Right now we're probably going to have a lot more hot water stuff that's going to be at play. We'll go take a look at these other graphics here. Now you notice these heat exchangers were on the last graphic on the left side, so this is a continuation of that part of the system. You have your two tower cells here. Both of them are off, no speed on the drives. Let's see here. There's your supply and return. We're not using this tower at the time, so these three pumps are on starters, so we just have an on-off point. That's it. We still can see let me think here. We have I believe we still have a proof on this. We should still see an alarm if they're not running. And this point is actually an alarm right now. That may be a product of what the alarm levels are set at, but we can look into that. That's what an alarm will look like on the graphic as an example. Go back to hot water systems, take a look at this one. So you can see we're currently have no boiler faults. We used to have some points on here for boiler command, but they're actually being controlled separate from our system, so we took those off. So we just see the fault conditions. You can see the water temps. You can see here that we have a one pump running, one pump not, and you can see the status of the 6-inch and 3-inch valve that are up there to blend the water to get the right temperature. Currently heating is off because we're making set point, so that's all on this graphic here. And from there we have a couple of exhaust fan graphics. We have some DOAS graphics as well. These are down on the lower floors. I think you probably know one of them's in the generator room and one is down by that storage area. So pretty basic graphic here. You just have the command point for the fan. You've got the temperature in the room and the set point range, which can be adjusted on the graphic. And that should be the same for the second exhaust fan. Same layout. Something I didn't show you before. While you're on a graphic, let's say that I wanted to manually command a point. If it is a commandable point, you can do so. If you hover over it, you can see, before I clicked on this, you saw I clicked on exhaust fan 9. You can see that it says exhaust fan 9, tells you kind of a little bit of information about the point. If I click on it, it brings up this little commander window here, and I can go from off to on, and you can click OK. And nothing happens. Wonder if this point is not commandable because it's coming out of a secondary controller. Let's try the set point, see if we can get the set point to respond. Take a second. Last time I did this anyway, it took a minute for it to populate. I'm going to look into that because I'm going to try it on a point on one of our other graphics. You know what? I think I know why that's happening. We can address that later. Let me go over to one of these graphics real quick just to take a peek and see if we can show you what that's going to look like. Let's see here. So what you saw there just happen is we commanded the point, and you can see there's a little hand icon there. It's just saying you put it in hand. So from that point you can release it. You can go back to auto and click OK. Once again, you see the hand symbol there. Anytime you click on a point that's got that, somebody's commanded it, overridden it in a different priority. I'm going to click back to auto and click OK. It'll go back to the program level or the default level. So that's the process for that. Now let's go back and check. So we have 3 DOAS units here. They pretty much all have the same points on it. DOAS 3's points are a little bit different, but they show the same on the graphic. So I will tell you this: these pressure points are need to be, what is it, divided by 100? Yeah, divided by 1,000. I think that's what we determined, wasn't it? They come in as basically 300 and 400, but it's actually 0.4 and 0.3. So that's the way the controller displays those points. I guess to give you a lot of resolution, I don't know why you need to see that far down on the pressure point, but so you can see your current temps, you can see the status of the fans, the leaving coil temperature. This point was called mixed air temp in the database, but I believe it's actually I think it might actually be a return temp. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know, either way, it's not the DOAS unit. You can see just these are all coming out of the third-party controller that's inside of the DOAS unit, so we're just kind of displaying them on the graphic. And they pretty much run themselves with the settings that are put in place. And all 3 of the graphics are going to look identical. See, I still do it even though I know it shifts every time. I still click on it before it jumps over. So the separation in the duct here is just basically saying that there's a static pressure that's not right at the unit. So just to give you an indication of that. Click on this last one, and then I want to show you some points that were added to the graphic recently. So one of the things that we were requested from the commissioning agent was to add some alarming for the DOAS units. Wasn't intended to make it really cumbersome or anything, but just down at the bottom here, basically what you have is you have I think they really just wanted it on the discharge. I went ahead and added it on the mixed air or the return side as well. But you have a high and low set point. I threw a number in there that can be changed to whatever Bernhard wants to put in there is fine. But we have a high and low alarm that'll trigger. If either of those are active, it will generate an alarm in the alarm screen. It'll also show you on this graphic here, and also the same on the mixed air side. So I just generated 2 separate points, and you can see your levels. And it's the same layout on all 3 graphics. You don't really need to do anything here. It's just more of an indication. Once the set points are where they need to be, you can see the alarm. If they pop in, you'll know that that's what's going on there. And so that's kind of going through just a quick overview of the graphics. Do you have any questions about anything that we've looked at? Okay. Let's see. We already looked at the alarm screen briefly.
Hello.